Welcome to A Spoonful of Help Desk. My name is Lisa Smith. Have you ever looked up into the sky at the clouds and saw the storm brewing and thought, it's coming a cloud? May not be a phrase that you use a lot, but back when I grew up in Texas, in Tornado Alley as they used to call it, my granddaddy used to go out and stand in the front yard quite frequently. And on those stormy spring afternoons in the Texas Panhandle, he would look up at the sky and he would look down at me and say, "Lisa, I believe it's coming a cloud." Now, what significance does that have to anything that we're talking about concerning employment law, payroll law, audits, compliance in general? Well, you see, where I grew up was a little town called Pampa, Texas. And you can Google this if you want to. But it was always said that it was highly unlikely that an actual tornado would ever hit and destroy Pampa, Texas. Because Pampa was in a particular geographical location between a couple of rivers and just wasn't as likely that a tornado would just come in and clobber that area. Now, tornadoes hit all around Pampa for years. There was a big tornado in the 1970s that just destroyed the little town of LaForest, Texas. And you may have heard of various tornadoes through the Texas Panhandle. Of course, farmhouses were always getting leveled out on the plains. But a lot of folks felt very strongly that living in Pampa was a pretty safe bet. So when my granddaddy looked up at the sky and said, "Lisa, it's coming a cloud," there were a lot of folks who might have said, he's being paranoid. It's coming a cloud, but it's not coming a cloud here. And you know, I teach employment law classes all over the United States. And when I walk into those classes, I have people who come in and will tell me, "You know, I'm only here for a refresher. You're going to talk to me today about audits and about all those scary statistics." And quite honestly, Lisa, I'm not worried about any of those statistics, because I run a small business, or I'm in an industry that doesn't get tackled by the Department of Labor or the IRS very often. And I want to just tell them, keep in mind, it's coming a cloud. Because what they don't understand is that on June the 8th of 1995, it came a cloud in Pampa, Texas. As a matter of fact, it came about 6 clouds that day. And if you know much about tornadoes, you know that sometimes they spin off and they do that double devil thing where they go into twin tornadoes. Well, it did that 3 or 4 times around Pampa that day. And there were several, I believe they clocked about 4 of them as being F4 tornadoes that danced around Pampa. And finally, a big old F4 tornado hit the southwest portion of Pampa and leveled a good section, including an industrial section and a small area of housing. So all of those people for all of those years who didn't invest in storm shelters possibly, or just didn't worry about the tornado sirens when they went off, because they said, "Oh, it's paranoia. Sure, the clouds are out there and it's clouding up, but Pampa's not going to get hit by the actual big one." Well, on that day, June 8th, 1995, it came a cloud. And Pampa was hit by one of the biggest tornadoes that could hit you, an F4, right? So when you Google this, and I'm sure you will, you'll go out and you'll find all sorts of video on the Pampa tornado. The Weather Channel, every year when they do their big tornado section in the spring, they always talk about the Pampa tornado of 1995. So when you see that now on the Weather Channel, you'll remember this video that you're watching right now. And I want you to think about your business. And I want you to think about the payroll department that you monitor and the HR department that you monitor, whatever it is that you do. And when you are tempted to think, oh, none of that applies to me. I don't have to worry about internally auditing my business. I don't have to follow those silly IRS guidelines. I don't have to write policy and procedure manuals. I don't have to update job descriptions every year. Because it's going to rain on somebody else. That storm is going to hit another business. Statistically, I'm never going to be bothered by those problems. If you think that, then I want you to remember what I'm telling you today. It's coming a cloud. And your little town, your little business is not exempt. Tune in to more of A Spoonful of Help Desk, and we'll talk about those items in detail. And I'll show you what you can do to protect yourself. And I'll give you the statistics to help you really understand what that cloud can mean and what it is already meaning to other businesses like yours. Until next time, keep calm and employ on. This is Lisa Smith. See you next time.